These days, when I look at Captain Amarinder Singh, Chief Minister of Punjab, I am reminded of the movie Lion King. The Lion King was the king of the jungle, fearless, bold, wise, his writ unchallenged in the jungle and over his subjects. But the Lion King was getting old, and it gave an opportunity to his enemies to regroup and conspire against him. His grip over his subjects had weakened, and it gave an opportunity to his enemies to encircle him and bring him down when he was at his most vulnerable. Something similar is happening to Captain Amarinder Singh in Punjab. It is not just Mr. Navjot Sidhu who is cramping his style and space. The captain has to contend with far more powerful enemies than the maverick Mr. Sidhu. Hi and welcome all to the CAA show. My name is Juggi Bhasin. The CAA is a show where we converse and analyze the burning issues of the day. Today, I want to talk about the issue of respect in Indian politics. I want to touch upon the theme of dignity and self-esteem and the myopic ruthlessness that riddles our polity. And therefore, what better example in this context than Captain Amarinder Singh? The man who was of the manner born, star chief minister for the Congress party, the last veteran of note standing in the house of cards, that is the Congress party. The soft but plain-speaking captain is a man who makes compulsive viewing and listening. The same man who was a friend of Rajiv Gandhi and enjoyed the respect of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Today, that very man is forced to tolerate the conspiracies of upstarts trying to bring him down. I cannot even imagine his state of mind. Forced as he is to witness this entire charade of a leadership crisis being played out in Punjab. A crisis some people believe is fanned and blessed by the likes of Miss Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. More than the story of Captain Amarinder Singh, this is the story of the Congress party and its priorities. Here is the Congress, on the verge of becoming a footnote in India's political journey. And there is the Congress party destroying the credibility of the one man in the party who commands nationwide respect. But then, that is the thing with mediocre people. They surround themselves with people even lower than themselves on the competency ladder. I am not surprised that the straight-talking man with a spine, Captain Amarinder Singh, does not find favor with Mr. Rahul Gandhi. How can the two get along with each other? Just think about it. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, along with his sister, is an entitled politician, a sometimes maybe leader. He cannot be in sync with the captain who suffers no fools. The Gandhi siblings, of course, see merit and empathy in Mr. Sidhu, who all his life has led an entitled life, a life of no responsibility. Three birds of the same feather flocking together. Let us take a quick look at the career of the man who the Gandhi siblings favor in Punjab. Mr. Sidhu is the man who walked out of Azharuddin's cricket team in 1996, citing differences with him. What did it mean? This effectively meant that he ditched the team when they most needed him. More recently, Mr. Sidhu ditched the BJP for the Congress because gas balloons can go up only so high in the sky. At the inauguration of the Kartarpur Sahib corridor in Gurudwara, he created a major foreign policy disaster. He would not stop praising, flattering, and serenading India's enemies, including Mr. Imran Khan. Mr. Sidhu has done it all in the past 30 years. He has spread chaos and unpredictability with regular predictability. And his current spat with the captain is but a continuation of his maverick ways of working. But this episode is not only about Mr. Sidhu. It is a homage to the approaching swan song of Captain Amarinder Singh. Talk to people, and many would say, if the captain had been 20 years younger, he would have posed a serious challenge to Mr. Modi. He has that kind of persona. I'm no fan of the farmers' protests that are taking place right now, but look at the way Captain Amarinder Singh has handled the farmers' protests in Punjab. He has skillfully advocated their cause without tearing his state apart and shifting the problem and the headache of these protests in the courtyard of the central government. Any other opposition party would have serenaded the captain for this achievement. But the top rung in the Congress party feels threatened by the achievements and the persona of the Capt. But in the end, it is how you treat men and women of stature and give them respect in the party. Look at the track record of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Can we forget the way he treated Dr. Manmohan Singh by tearing up his policy papers in full view of the cameras? Or the way he addresses Prime Minister Modi publicly? Whether we like Mr. Modi or not, a young man addressing a 70-year-old man as tu is certainly not our Indian culture. So then, what makes anyone think he will treat an elder and a veteran like the captain with respect? The sheer gall of asking Captain Amarinder Singh to report to a three-man committee in Delhi and explain his conduct and tenure can only happen in the Congress party. Have we ever seen the widely speculated differences between Mr. Advani and Mr. Modi come out in the open? Mr. Modi at least publicly always gives the greatest respect to Mr. Advani. In the end, how we treat our elders and veterans is reflective of the culture and the mindset of people and organizations. But of course, this message is lost on small-minded, entitled, and manipulative people. So, goodbye for now. Keep watching this space and subscribe to our channel. It is completely free of cost. Cheers and goodbye, everyone.